Let's bring in Bishop Garrison, co-founder of the Joseph Rainey Center for Public Policy, and Republican strategist Brian Darling, founder and president of Liberty Government Affairs. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Brian, how big of an upset is this for the Republican Party?
Well, I like Justin Amash. I think he's one of the leaders of the House, and he's somebody who's a libertarian-ish Republican, somebody who may actually run for president as a libertarian. That being said, I fundamentally disagree with his analysis. I don't think he's right. I think when you look at the Mueller report, it was released. It was not suppressed. It was something that's out there in the public domain. The president did not obstruct the investigation. He actually provided people in his administration to come testify. And so I think he's wrong. I think it will give some oxygen to the left when they keep pushing for an impeachment, but I don't think it's going to matter all that much. I mean, Justin Amash is a very independent member of Congress, and I think people will look at this as something that one independent Republican has gone off on his own and done.
Bishop, why do you think Congressman Amash stopped short of making a direct call to start impeachment proceedings?
Sure, because at the end of the day, he's still a Republican member of the House. I applaud him, or I should say I thank him, at least in this short term, for having the courage to come forward in the way that he did. But at the same time, this is a bit too little too late. He, along with a lot of his colleagues, should be much more vocal overall, and they should have done so a long time ago. To wait now when we have a fever pitch of a variety of issues that are coming forward, and a lot of this based off of what we've seen within the Mueller report is just too little too late. It's not enough right now. The biggest thing for me is that we need to see Republicans that are within the House and within the Senate that have the courage to step forward and say, look, I have read this report, and the fully redacted report. Let's not forget that we as the public and many of us, our representatives, have not seen the full redacted report. For those members to come forth and say they want to read it, and when they do read it, they have the courage to do exactly what the Republican member did. And furthermore, to Brian's point, no, the president has not done all that he can. This administration has not done all it can to support the efforts behind this report. You saw the Attorney General Barr, who was absolutely fighting with members of Congress, who refuses to come before the House committee, who refuses to let, the administration refuses to let the former White House counsel come forth and actually provide testimony. These are all issues that are going to continue to feed the fire that is this issue.
Brian, do you think this will open the door for other Republicans to disavow President Trump's conduct and Bill Barr's representations of that?
I don't think so. I think this is a one-off. I think Justin Amash, I think he's running for president. I think this is something that is, it shows that he is going to probably run as a libertarian for president. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he's very independent. I don't think many people follow Justin Amash. I think he kind of leads his caucus of one. But that being said, I mean, look at this investigation. It's already happened. The Mueller report is out. The Mueller report took in hundreds of hours of testimony and thousands of documents, and I don't think Congress needs to engage in a witch hunt for the sole purpose of hurting President Trump in this 2020 re-election bid and do their own investigation. The investigation has already happened.
This isn't about the soul just trying to hurt Trump politically. This is about trying to get to the truth of the matter. And the Mueller report, the Mueller investigation, was actually a net gain financially as well. So the idea that this is simply about political gains is ridiculous. This is about bringing people to justice and ensuring that a foreign entity can't invoke itself or be involved in our election process ever again and can't interfere with it.
Bishop, Politico's Jake Sherman points out that Amash's calls for Trump impeachments now makes those calls bipartisan. We all remember that's a threshold that was previously set by Democratic leadership, including Nancy Pelosi. Do you think there's a double-edged sword here for Democrats by raising the pressure on them to impeach, despite concerns that it could energize President Trump's base?
Well, personally, I think at the end of the day, if you're talking impeachment, we should be looking at the actual letter of the law, and we should be looking at our value set. Like, we should not make it some type of political calculus, whether or not, well, you have X amount of votes, or you have X amount of support from the left and the right. I think at the end of the day, leadership should look and say, did the president did he have a high crimes and misdemeanors? Did he violate the law in such a way that necessitates impeachment? If if the answer is yes, they should move forward, and they should do so for the political will of all people, both Republicans and Democrats, if that's truly what they believe.
Brian, on the 2020 front, Democratic contender Joe Biden took a few swings at President Trump and Republicans during his campaign kickoff rally. Let's listen to that.
Folks, his attack on the co-equal branch of government, the Congress, blocking their constitutional responsibility to legitimately engage in oversight, placing him above the law. And by the way, without a whimper from the Republicans of Congress who know better. They know better. These things are corrosive. They threaten the core values of this nation. They undermine, not kidding, they undermine our standing around the world.
Brian, briefly, is this a glimpse of what we could expect from Joe Biden in the coming months?
Oh, definitely. I think that Democrats are unified when they're bashing Donald Trump, and the rhetoric from Joe Biden is to bash Donald Trump and make fun of him and give him a hard time, because Joe Biden's having a very hard time unifying his own party, divided by the Democratic Socialists.
All right. Bishop Garrison, Brian Darling, thank you so much for joining me early on this Sunday.
Thank you.
Ahead on